Welcome to episode 39 of the Chi-Town Shoot Wrestling Podcast. I'm Marcin, and joining me in the squared circle today are Chris, David, and Andres. We're coming at you from the heart of the wrestling world, Chicago, Illinois, bringing you the latest news, hottest takes, and all things WWE and AEW. If you got questions or thoughts, send them over to Chi-Town-Shoot-Podcast at gmail.com. Without further ado, I want to welcome everyone to our 39th episode. It's been a wild, wild week. I think we're post-wedding at this point, post getting married, or I got married.
Congrats.
And then,
again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, all of you guys were there. I really appreciated it. And it was also, honestly, just a great overall, I couldn't have asked for it to be any more perfect. Like, it went off with pretty much without a hitch, so
The
very grateful for that.
was had.
It sure was.
Oh yeah,
It was head indeed.
dragon bodies.
Dragon bodies, dancing bodies, dragon bodies, typical wedding. But it
Throw
was
my
great.
back. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah, I was trying to do the splits on the dance floor. And I only went below
missed
a
that.
certain angle. I was like, I didn't get to 180 degrees, maybe like 110, maybe.
That's okay.
And then I had to go back up. I had to really test the limits of my pants for sure. We also went to Freelance Wrestling. They had Freelance versus the World. I think it was 11, right? There was their 11th. Is that like their WrestleMania? Because I think it's their anniversary show. Because I remember. I think it said 11th anniversary from Matt Nix's Twitter account. And yeah, what a wild show. I mean, we had Benny the Bull.
Shout out to Benny the Bull.
Yeah, shout out to Benny the Bull. I initially thought, like, when I was first watching it, I thought it might have been just someone from the back or someone on staff who just put on the outfit just to, have an interesting story. But the more I thought about it, and I think I was talking with you, David, like, I feel like if they did this and they're filming this for, the indie wrestling channel, this might be potentially like a thing you can sue for, because this is like actual like IP. And then I saw on social media, like, the Benny the Bull social media profile. Yeah, like, they posted it on there. I was like, that's wild.
Like,
Yeah,
so
dude,
I did a wrestling match.
Benny the Bull is officially on Cage Match.
Yeah, he's got a cage match rating. That's wild. Does he actually, or was that a joke?
I'm pretty sure by the end of it he will.
Yeah,
He was a ref.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It sounds like Matt was
Honestly.
saying that they got him for the summer. I don't. How many more? I mean, there's one a month, right? One freelance a month. So maybe he's
Basically,
got him.
like, one or two, because I feel like they have like the show at Logan Square, and then they also do one at Emporium sometimes, like twice a month. But
might make multiple appearances. Short contract.
It's a
Yeah.
secret.
gonna extend his contract beyond the summer, on for 5 years as a special ref.
Is all.
But it was great. Yeah, he's all like, yeah. I think my favorite match was probably, I think it might be the Alfonso match with Isaiah. And I didn't realize that Isaiah, was he retiring or was he going to like a bigger promotion? I wasn't sure
That's what I was wondering.
what was happening there. But it did seem like it was like his last day at Freelance based on the reception that he got. I'm assuming that was his kid, and definitely didn't know that he was dating, or if they're together, Kylie
Where have
Ray.
you been?
I guess in
Call
I
him
don't know.
Patrick Starr.
Yeah, call me Patrick Starr. I don't know. Got just a carton of milk spilled over if you do a brain scan. But yeah, that was really cool. Very emotional. The main event, Mustafa Ali versus Kota Hernandez. That was also really great. Just super awesome all around. And David, you got a chance to chat with some of them, right? Any sage advice you get from?
Oh, I just said, what's up? Good shit. See you next time.
Yeah,
Nice
I mean,
and
that's still
simple.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it's so cool that they're just so personable too. And
Yeah.
literally, like, I just like the layout of Logan Square Auditorium, and like in between matches or during the intermission, like they're just like hanging out 2 rows behind you by their merch tables, and you can just chat them up. It's really cool.
Oh, dude, this Great American Bash shirt I has Ali, and he got let go right before this. So this is actually a shirt that shouldn't be out in the world.
Wait, is that 2022? What year
Let
is
me
that?
23.
Oh, okay. He got let go in 23? Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in a triple threat match with Wesley, Dirty Dom, and Dirty Dom for the North American title.
Mm-hmm.
He got let go like the week before, or he left.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But that I mean, that's awesome that he not that he got let go, but that he moved on and found it. I mean, he's currently in TNA, right? Like he's doing pretty
Yeah.
well.
And we caught him at New Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's making waves, making moves. If one door closes, you just make an opportunity, like he did, Cody
He
Rhodes,
has a
and
school.
a bunch of other wrestlers before him. Awesome. Well, I think we can move on to our first story of this episode. And this one, I feel like initially when I read this, I was like, well, it's not April Fool's. And I kept seeing stories about other people who were playing other Street Fighter characters. And I just kept thinking that it got crazier and crazier. But for those who are not familiar, so Roman Reigns apparently is going to play Akuma. Is it Akuma or Akuma? Akuma, right?
Akuma.
A bear?
Yeah. Yeah, Akuma. Yeah, a bear in Street Fighter in the live action version of Street Fighter. So, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they provided an update on the casting for the live action Street Fighter film. So apparently, the centerpiece of the article had to do with 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, who joined the cast. But it was also noted that Roman Reigns is listed to play as Akuma in the film. So I guess Legendary Entertainment is putting the film together, and the plot of the movie is still kind of under wraps. They didn't really say what the story is, but I mean, I feel like we kind of have a sense of what it would look like. Probably some kind of tournament.
Street
It's
Fighter.
about street fighting.
Yeah, it's about street fighting. I mean, the Street Fighter movie was Jean-Claude Van Damme. I mean, that one focused specifically on his character, didn't it?
He
He
played
was Guile, right?
Yeah.
Guile.
Yeah.
Mr. America.
So
That,
that'd be kind of
Muscles
that'd be
from
kind of
Brussels.
interesting if they like focused on like a specific Street Fighter character. Do you think it'd be like an ensemble kind of thing? You know, like I don't know, like Mortal Kombat, where they didn't necessarily. I guess Liu Kang was kind of the
Expendables.
focus. Yeah. You know, like maybe not necessarily one person being the focus, but like a whole group of them. So Roman Reigns hasn't been on WWE television since he was basically taken out by the new faction of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, on the Raw after WrestleMania 41. So I think he's definitely keeping himself busy. I'm sure he must have been doing some filming in between, like as Akuma, because I don't think they just started filming, unless they are currently filming. But yeah, I think that might be a reason why he's been taking all these breaks. He probably has a lot of movie roles, but let's take a step back and just think about what this headline just said. And let me ask you guys, since you are more familiar with Street Fighter and the characters, what did you think when you first heard that Roman Reigns was going to be Akuma in Street Fighter? David, did you have any first thoughts when you read it?
I thought it was cool, and then I was like, I hope he hits a raging demon in WWE.
Man, he has to.
Can you imagine?
Yes, the lights just shut off, his back glows, you just see hit marks, and it's all over.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like what his.
He should add the teleport to his arsenal when he gets back.
Do you think he's dyeing his hair like red? Is he
Probably.
gonna cut the
No,
beard?
probably.
No, because
Akuma has a
Akuma
beard.
has a beard now.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably depends on what version, but I mean, they'd probably just give him a wig and stuff. I
They're
mean,
gonna probably take their liberties, I bet, with it. They're gonna make them more grounded looking
probably,
and not like super, anime style. I was just like every time I was seeing like an article about this movie, I just felt like it was just like AI bullshit, like fake movie like coming up. Like when you like scroll through like Facebook or something like that, it's like, oh, the new sequel to this movie's coming out, and there's like a gajillion likes because everybody believes that
A
it's
fake
real.
movie poster.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was.
I didn't think it was
Well,
real either. I've had people messaging me about it because, like, I'm a big Street Fighter fan, and I remember
yeah.
I saw it like a couple times throughout the day, and I didn't think much of it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't think. And then eventually, when I realized I kept seeing it, and like Chris, to your point, like it's like, wait a minute, this is an official thing. I was like, oh. I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, I'm actually okay with it. I'm not. I'll be honest, I'm not optimistic about it. Like, will more than likely go see it though, just because.
Hmm.
Um, but we'll see. I mean, video game movies are always like, I don't know, a very big hit or miss kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Roman Reigns though specifically being Akuma, yeah, that's cool. I'm actually okay with that. I mean, he's got a great physique for it, obviously. I think he'd be a really good Kuma.
Gonna shave his eyebrows.
Yeah, dude.
Guys. Oh, he has no eyebrows, Akuma?
Doesn't
Yeah, he
don't
doesn't have eyebrows.
seems like he
I can't
don't.
wait.
He has like his face is like morphed a little bit demonically because of the Tatsunoko.
You got that
Yeah, I wonder if he's
caveman
gonna have
look.
prosthetics.
I
Gonna have
can't wait
Yeah, there's like
prosthetics
a
to
see
extend his eyebrows.
50 Cent with a Balrog haircut.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about 50 Cent being Balrog?
Got
He could
the
get.
widow's peak
He'll mess
going.
it up. He'll look fine. He'll fit
Yeah.
right in.
Yeah, yeah, he'll do good.
He's a big dude in real life.
I really hope this shit's gonna
What?
be campy as fuck. Like I hope it's more like a Suicide Squad type vibe to it, but with like like good martial arts. Because like that's what this movie should generally be, is just like showcase martial arts somehow. But it's just weird to see like Roman Reigns be like Akuma, who I feel he's heavy on karate. I want to say, but unless he has his own style. And then
True.
Balrog, yeah, Balrog. I mean, I'm guessing 50 Cent can box a little bit, but yeah, we'll see.
He's doing Taibo right now.
What era of Street Fighter do you think this is gonna be? You said, Chris, that they might be taking liberties. Do you feel like it's like a beginning story, like an origin story for like Street Fighter in general? Do you feel like it's just gonna be like somewhere in the middle?
Kuma's gonna be in high school, just like Dragon Ball Evolution, and then
Gonna have some hair paste to spike his hair?
Yep.
Nah.
Yeah, probably not. But
I think it's gonna.
Things that take place like more like 6 around now.
yeah, I bet you it's gonna be like a promotional movie, like kind of like wherever like Street Fighter 6 is currently storyline wise, or maybe like Third Strike potentially or some shit.
Hmm.
And or do some like Street Fighter 2 would be the safe bet,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
because somebody's supposed to
I
be
think they're just
playing,
gonna try
who was playing Bison. I think they gave it to somebody. I forgot who it was.
Oh,
Carrying
Did you say Carrying Cross?
yeah.
That's a good question.
oh,
Let's
it's
see.
the guy.
Look it up,
I think
Jimmy.
I saw him. It's the guy from. He's in Fallout. I forgot his name though.
Guy Incognito.
I was gonna say Raul Julia, but he died.
He
Oh,
died.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's been
did.
dead.
He said it was a
I think he
Tuesday.
died. I think that was his last movie.
Oh, wait, who was Andrew Schultz? What Street Fighter character is Andrew Schultz? That's crazy.
I think he's Dana Biggie.
Yeah, I guess a Fallout Star. I think that's a
I saw something about
rumor?
him. Yeah, before, like before Roman Reigns was even announced, I saw something about him. But at that point, it wasn't even confirmed yet. And then after, I think Roman Reigns was like confirmed, then the actual movie was more of a thing. But that's like, I don't know who is officially
Oh,
casted
Jason
by.
Momoa's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Blanca. That's kind of
Yeah.
funny because it's like that him and Roman Reigns is like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, basically.
I like how the first thing you see when you Google this movie is an AI image of Chris Hemsworth as Ken. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And it just like
I think,
further makes this shit seem fake, even though it's not. But yeah,
I feel like it's going to be like the Street Fighter 2 era, like look for all the characters as a safe bet. Because I think if you do Street Fighter 6, some of their updates, people are like, oh, I don't know who that is. They do a lot of characters do look dramatically different too. I think
I feel like
it'd be the start of the story.
there's like a decent chunk that aren't
Also-
even like normally actors who are like portraying characters. Like Orville Peck's a country music star. I guess he does stuff in like there's some like theater. I have never seen him act, but I guess it makes sense for him to be Vega because he's got a mask and so does he. But
Oh.
yeah, 50 Cent. I mean, I guess 50 Cent does some acting.
I mean, he writes Power. He's the exec producer for Power.
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
of
So
those.
I mean, it's not like this isn't his first rodeo
Andrew Koji's a good
there any other
choice.
as Ryu.
I want to say he's Ryu, but he was in that Bruce Lee screenplayed TV show
Mm.
Warrior. I mean, he's just a good overall accomplished martial artist. He's really good.
Where's
Yeah.
Vin Diesel?
Yeah, right.
Vin Diesel.
Add some credibility to this movie.
Vin Diesel was M. Bison, actually. That would be cool.
No, he's Gat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he would make a good Sagat.
Bald guy plays bald guy.
I'm bald
Roman
guy,
Reigns
but
the
I'm
only,
not
wrestler
bald guy. What was your question?
Roman Reigns is the only like wrestler in the movie, like casted so far.
That we know of.
Yeah, I mean that we
Okay.
know of.
I wonder who's
He's
gonna
playing
play
such a vital
Geef.
character. So.
Oh,
So let me
Paul,
ask you guys. Let me ask you guys this: do you feel like Roman Reigns was cast for his acting ability, his look, or because he's from WWE, or he just knocked it out of the park at the audition? And they were like, "Yeah, you are Akuma."
I think it's his look.
his look, he's a big heel character run. Like he can play the bad guy. So I'm sure it has something
Yeah.
to do with that.
He's got a nice back. Pause.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think his back.
Can you imagine that
Yeah,
lat
cool.
spread?
So he's just like doing this.
Working
yeah.
out with Kai Green.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, dude. Hard.
Fuck, for real?
Yeah.
He on the Kai Green special vitamin too?
Probably Dwayne Johnson pulling some strings, calling some people. He's like, I know a guy, I could get you in Street Fighter. But what do you guys think this means for Roman and his WWE future? Do you feel like it's the way of like a John Cena or The Rock, where they dip their toes in movies and then they retire and then they basically make it most of their career going forward? Or do you feel like it's more of a one-off?
This is his Scorpion King.
Yeah, he thinks so. Yeah, his launching pad. This is a Scorpion King.
Nice.
He's gonna have like so I think The Rock first showed up in The Mummy Returns, right? It was like
Yeah.
a crappy CGI like cameo.
Scorpion.
It wasn't cameo, but that was his first.
He was actually in the movie, and then he did
Yeah.
the CGI part. So.
He
Yeah,
did his
yeah.
animality.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see it doing like that if the movie does well and his character is portrayed very well. I can see them making an Akuma movie like later on, maybe for him. That'd be cool.
I mean, I love to be pleasantly surprised. Like Batista, like I did not when I first saw Batista, like just as a wrestler, like world heavyweight champion Batista in 2007. When he was gonna do acting, I didn't think that he had it in him, and that was definitely my fault because I shouldn't have looked at looks or anything like that. But like out of all the wrestlers who have done acting, I think he's had the best varied career. I think Dwayne Johnson has the best career in general in terms of box office and how many movies he's done. But as an actor and someone who I really enjoy, like Batista is, I feel like second to none. Like he could do Guardians of the Galaxy,
that.
and he can also do James Bond or
Blade
What was that
Runner.
horror movie? Blade
Blade-
Runner.
Blade-
Blade Runner. Dune. Was he in Dune?
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't know.
he has like
He
so
has
many.
range.
He has range exactly. Like
Yeah.
he could be funny. He could be serious. He's great.
His role is that I'm gonna be the Rock in this movie.
Yes, basically, he's Dwayne Johnson, which is fine because like there are plenty of like actors that like John Cena for me is just John Cena in
Yeah.
Peacemaker and in Ricky Stenicki or whatever it was called.
He's definitely John Cena there.
Yeah. So like I enjoy them for what they are. Like I don't care that they act like that, but I think Batista's like great. I was surprised by how well he is, and I want to see Roman Reigns. I want to see what he can do, in front of a camera. And again, we won't know what the script is and what it's going to look like. I'm definitely looking forward to the trailer. So, I won't necessarily blame him if the movie isn't great. We'll see. Just purely based on the track record of most video game movies. But I feel like video game movies have gotten better, but on the whole, they're not great. Most of them aren't great. So I guess, do you feel like with this happening, do you feel like Roman Reigns, do you think he's coming back to WWE anytime soon? Do you feel like now this is going to be his focus? Do you think there's going to be maybe a part-time? I mean, I guess he's part-time right now already, but do you feel like in this next second half of the year, do you feel like he's going to come back anytime soon, or is this going to be taking over his bandwidth?
I feel like he's got that Brock schedule now.
Yeah.
Yep, he's gonna show
Yeah.
up
I
just
feel
in
like
time
he'll
for
be back.
WrestleMania season or Royal Rumble or something like that.
SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam.
I can see that.
So
And
Chris,
plus,
you mentioned, yeah, go for it.
just because of what I know about Street Fighter, I'm pretty sure Akuma's not like the main character either. So when they
They'll
do his
make him
parts, I'm
that.
sure he'll be like done, and then then he can go right back to WWE.
I mean, when they did the Street Fighter movie in the 90s, did people think Guile was a main character?
Yeah.
No.
In the
Mixed
initial
results.
game.
Well, on the
Yeah,
game,
like
I
playing,
never thought so.
playing the game and then like, oh, they're making a Street Fighter movie, and then you realize like
Oh.
Guile is a focus. Did you think that, like, do you feel like Guile does it make sense to be a main character? Is it because he was like an American, like
Belgian
military
American?
type person? Yeah, is that why probably?
No, I mean, not really off the bat, you would not expect Guile to be the main guy, but when you're watching the movie, you can tell he's the main focus for sure. But I don't know, like I saw that movie in theaters as a kid, even I knew it was bad. But
Do you feel like they're gonna go for the same kind of tone, but maybe more elevated? Because I feel like that movie is kind of campy, wouldn't you say?
oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So
I saw it again as an adult. I actually like it now. Very entertaining, funny.
for what it is, yeah, for what it is.
Yeah.
Are you guys hyped for it? Do you feel like it's gonna be? I don't even know what's a good comparison. Like the first Mortal Kombat, which I think is good, or do you think we're setting up for a Mortal Kombat Annihilation situation?
Oh man,
I think
I
it'll
hope
be
we don't.
better.
Yeah,
You
I
think
think
it'll be
it'll be
than that?
better. I think it'll be better
Yeah.
than at least it'll be better than the latest Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 1. I thought it was okay. I mean, the fighting and stuff was great. Like, when they first showed the
Yeah.
first 10, 15 minutes, like, I was like, if this is what the movie's going to be, that's awesome. But the pacing of that, like, I don't want to turn this into a Mortal Kombat movie discussion, but, like, the pacing of that movie, I was like,
It's weird.
you're touching the beat. Yeah, it just feels like you're giving me a Cliff Notes version of it. You know what I mean? And, yeah,
It felt like the game.
yeah, it was kind of weird. But I still enjoyed it, but I don't feel like I don't think I've seen it more than twice.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember the one time I watched it.
Yeah, I mean the fighting's great, and
That's all I
of
remember.
course
Goro
people
looks
didn't
sweet.
like. Did it? Yeah, Goro looks sweet. People didn't like the new character. Was his name Cole or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
From
I
Chicago.
didn't mind. Like I didn't personally mind it. Like if you want to make a movie character, sure. But I mean, I guess we'll see what the second one is. I'm still gonna watch it because I
Yeah.
like Mortal Kombat. But
Oh, hell.
you know,
Let's go watch it for film study purposes.
We're all gonna go together. We're gonna take a trip.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting there like,
Like dudes at metal concerts that don't like the first band. They're like,
Yeah.
well,
Stand in the
boy,
back.
We'll bring Mark too. You can sit with him. We're the
No,
real
so-
geeks.
Let me ask you this.
You guys are.
One last question before we move on to the next one. So, if Roman actually, like, let's say it's super popular, does really well, would you want to see Roman Reigns come back in like some kind of Akuma gimmick, like maybe even like a WrestleMania outfit, or do you feel like that would it be cool, or do you think it'd be cringy?
I think you
I
should
would
wear the
love it.
necklace. That's
Yeah,
it.
subtle. Yeah, subtle.
at
Just
least
the
wear the
necklace.
beads.
Or
At least for the beats.
take him out his bum. What?
Hell yeah.
Or some vague red highlights and the beads.
He should wrestle
I think
in
it'd be
some
cool.
gi.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he could pull it off. I mean, I don't know if I'd make an entire gimmick out of it, but you know, at least like how Rey Mysterio, like at WrestleManias, he did like nods to like the Joker or Captain America and that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like Roman can do that if he wanted to. Just be the laid back, cool legend. You know, comes in. I think it'd be cool. All right.
I'm kind of
Well,
surprised they didn't have Kenny Omega to be part of that too.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, he did.
I'm surprised he wasn't.
Akuma.
Like, yeah, he did Akuma. He's in the new Street Fighter season trailer.
Yeah.
He cosplays every character that's coming out for the new
Even
season in the
Ingrid.
trailer. Yeah,
Mhm.
Were there any wrestlers you feel like that could fit, like that could be Street Fighter characters in a movie, like you would actually want to see like act in a movie as a Street Fighter
Kenny?
character? Kenny?
Yeah, I think he'd fit right in.
Yeah,
He
who
loves
would he
all
be?
of them.
Chun
yeah.
Li?
He's a Street Fighter.
He could be
Big
Alex.
Street Fighter.
Rusev
Yeah.
as Zangief. No, it'd have to be what's his freaking
Kenny?
name? No, Braun. Not Braun Breaker.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Braun
Thank you.
Strowman.
Yep, he'd be a good
Braun
geef.
Strowman would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I feel like there's a bunch of wrestlers that could probably play Street Fighter characters, but again, there's a difference between like there are really good pro wrestlers who really do well at acting, but I feel like on the whole, it's not always. I feel like that's kind of like the stereotype, you know, like you can cut a promo well in wrestling, but it's different once you go behind, you know, in front of a camera.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool. I would definitely want to see. Kenny, that'd be cool. I'd
Kenny
like
would
to
be
see. Yeah,
He'd be
Asuka
a good
maybe.
aid-on.
Asuka's, I don't know, Chun Li. That'd be fun.
She should
Uh,
be what's fuck, I forgot her name. Aki? AKI, whatever. The poison girl?
Yeah, the boys and girl.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
She's got the mist. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the first trailer. I actually want to see like what his face looks like, because like you said, like Akuma is like it's exaggerated. Is that the right term? But it's like Roman Reigns' facial structure is not the same as Akuma's, and I'm curious if it's going to be more realistic or if they're going to go like, you know, prosthetics, super crazy special effects, and what I want to see what the tone of this movie is. So that'll be fun. Hopefully they actually release some kind of trailer by the end of the year.
For sure.
I don't know if there's an actual like release date for it. Is it 2026 or is it later?
According to
They need to
Google.
do Street Fighter the movie, the game again.
They should.
Yeah, shit. Maybe from it, yeah, they will.
And call it the movie, the game, and then make an arcade port.
Get a Roman Reigns Akuma skin.
Yeah. There's probably going to be like a crossover with like the WWE 2K games for sure. And Capcom.
I know a guy that cosplays Akuma. I'm gonna probably start like commenting on all the Akuma posts, be like, nice Roman Reigns cosplay.
I knew you like Roman Reigns.
Right?
All right, well, let's keep the ball rolling onto our next story. And this one is in AEWville. And Tony Khan, in recent interviews, Osprey and Strickland, they discussed like the roster quality of AEW, saying that you have to be elite to be part of the roster and wanting wrestlers who would help build up the brand of AEW. And Tony Khan appeared on Battleground, and he was asked about the perception of AEW with free agents referencing the company as a potential landing spot after leaving WWE. This was all from Fightful Select, by the way. So this is what Tony Khan said. There's a very good perception about AEW in 2025. The company's doing great shows. This feels like the best year ever in AEW. This whole year has been a huge uptick for AEW on TV. When you factor in the additional fans watching on streaming on the simulcast, it's just going fantastic for us. There's a great perception about AEW. It's a great time to work here. It's also a lot of fun. He says a lot of like great fun. It's a great place to apply your trade as a wrestler, and we're looking for the very best. This is where the best wrestle. AEW has the best wrestlers in the world, and we want to keep it that way. It's a very high bar to reach the roster, and we want to maintain the quality. And separately, there were stories with like Elena Black and Shotzi Blackheart, who were both released by WWE. They both mentioned in recent interviews that AEW is a potential landing spot. So, with that in mind, Tony Khan says that it's a very high bar to make the AEW roster. David, do you think AEW's current talent pool supports that statement? And I guess, secondly, do you feel like are there people who shouldn't be there if we're talking about elite only? Like, do you think that their bar is high?
I think that the top of upper mid card to the top is pretty high. Some of their mid card and low cards is like, hey.
Beast Mortos?
Yeah. No, he's cool. He'll get his hazing offline. Online, he's cool. He's cool either way.
Yeah, I mean, his gimmick is sick. I like his match.
Yeah, he's a fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, he's basically a Pokemon or a Greek mythological like beast that is like there's like
Minotaur.
the specific Greek mythology and like maze.
Minotaur.
Yeah.
Minotaur. Yeah.
What's that? Mataro?
In Mortal Kombat.
Motaro, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But his ass is reversed because he's got a horse body or beast body, and then human-ish kind of top. He's a centaur.
So Beast Mortal's first words when he finally says something like Kane should be, "I'm only horse from the waist down, baby." But no, I feel like AEW's kind of lost sense of their like, I shouldn't say the bottom of the card, but like opening the show, things like that, like the Danhausens, the people that keep things going that don't necessarily need to win, like the Luigi Primos. Before we turn Orange Cassidy into like some super halfway serious but nonchalant serious guy. I feel like the tag teams need work, and which is weird because it's like when you got like the Hurts and the Kid as your tag champs, they should definitely be putting on like classics instead of like squashing your tag teams that are kind of expendable. No offense to all of them.
Yeah.
And then on the women's side, I feel like it's just like Mercedes Tony, and then if we remember to put on Willow or Stat.
They're kind of like supporting actors in the Tony Mercedes show right now.
I definitely think like the second half of the show, or maybe even like the last 3 quarters, are like pretty solidified, but like there's still like weird gaps where I'd be picky, but the question is how picky.
Yeah. Now, I guess, Chris, for you, so Tony Khan says it's the best year ever for AEW, and for me personally, I feel like because like we keep reading news and about this, I feel like I've heard this for the past year or two. Like
for the past 3. You've heard that since AEW 22.
Yeah, I mean, he's been saying it's the best year ever every year.
Which is good. Because they're a young company. So they should
Yeah.
be getting better every year.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there is some evolution. I feel like, he said it was the best year ever, even though the feeling wasn't there. Like there was this weird disconnect where sometimes in interviews it'd be like, it's amazing, it's going great, and then at the same time you're having the story where there's like an acknowledgement of restoring the feeling, meaning that you admit that it isn't that great. And
Right.
there were some promos where they're like, "Oh, the reason it sucks is because of A, B, and C." Was it like
Oh,
Moxley who said
Osprey.
it?
Yeah,
Osprey, yeah,
Osprey the
yeah,
mock. He
yeah.
said the
So,
reason why this place sucks is you.
yeah, like shooting yourself in the foot, there with like that kind of promo stuff. And I get like, I guess it's great to have like some kind of ammunition and stuff, but you're kind of admitting to the people who are in the arena and watching, like, yeah, our product kind of sucks right now,
Yeah. We
So
could do better.
yeah, so that's not great. You know, it's not great when you're watching and the people who are doing the work in the ring are saying it sucks.
At the top of your card.
Yeah. So I guess Chris, for you to ask you, you said it's the best year for AEW. Do you agree from what you've seen so far from like January to June, all the shows that we've watched, Double or Nothing, Dynasty, I think Revolution happened. Yeah, do you feel like it's been their best year ever? Let's stick with that premise. Best year ever. Do you agree with that?
I would definitely not say best year ever. I would say that peak would have been 21, 22 maybe, like 2021, 2022. And then it just kind of tapered off a little bit. It wasn't a complete nosedive. Like, it might have nosedived a bit after Punk and all that craziness kind of happened. And then it went up, and then it's just been kind of coasting, I feel. With
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, peaks and valleys. But I mean, that's just like with anything. But I would definitely not agree with the sentiment that it's their best year. But I understand from like a PR standpoint and him owning the company that of course he's gonna say that. But me personally, I would say it's not their best year. Good stuff. I mean, there's been definitely some really good stuff across the board. There's been some really great feuds and matches that I would say that would be somewhere up there, but I would not say as a whole the year itself was great. I mean, the year isn't even done yet. We're halfway through, I think. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, maybe when December rolls around, we could have kind of a year in review like we did the year before. But I agree, and I feel like there are certain things that are great. As a business, might be their best year, especially when it comes to the streaming service aspect, where you're on cable, but now you're also on Max, and there seems to be some sort of underflow of interest from like people who maybe not normally watch AEW. And again, there isn't like solid. I don't have the data and the TV numbers, but like conversations in forums and social media and that kind of stuff, there appears to be some increased interest in AEW, because of maybe some folks feeling like WWE at its current standing is feeling stale. I personally don't see that, because I mean, like, I guess it's not okay. Let me say this. I think WWE's peak, like the absolute peak saga, was like with Cody Rhodes and getting like finishing the story. Like that was that year or two buildup. All of that was great, and then like that energy level, I don't know if it necessarily came back to that. So I mean, that means it's been like what, a year and some change. Like there's plenty of good stuff, but I feel like that feeling with like The Rock and Cody and all that kind of stuff, I don't think it's been replicated this year. And again, I feel like nobody, no company, if it's AEW, if it's WWE, no one can maintain that energy consistently. I think that is impossible. People's attention spans shift and change constantly. People like to jump on the bandwagon, and then there's just this momentum that just all comes together, and then the energy is just palpable. The storylines, everything just lines up perfectly, and it worked really well for them going into WrestleMania 40. And this year, You know, the Saudi Arabia, you know, Night of Champions. It was okay. I mean, it was great that CM Punk and John Cena wrestled again. I liked it for the nostalgia and just having that one last match. I don't think it was that great of a match. I did think it was a little overbooked at the end. There were a lot of interferences and people coming in. So, long story short, I don't think WWE. I think WWE's had better years, and so has AEW. So AEW, from a business perspective, great. You started streaming. I think that is a thing to increase your business to keep going forward. That's awesome. But I don't know if it's your best year ever. So the next question I guess I have for you guys is, do you feel like for wrestlers, now we're talking about wrestlers specifically, not like fans watching the product, with talents like Osprey and Strickland who kind of like hype up the brand, do you feel like AEW is a destination for wrestlers when they leave WWE? Do you feel like there are other greener pastures, if it's New Japan, if it's TNA? I mean, I guess like if MLL, or I guess AAA would
MLW.
technically MLW. I mean, AAA, I think is technically they wouldn't be leaving because you'd still be under TKO. So I think that's a little complicated. But
All right.
do you agree with that assessment? Do you think AEW is a destination, a dream destination for wrestlers leaving WWE?
I mean, you're definitely getting the bag if you go, I imagine.
Yeah, that's the you're getting. That's the one way you'll get your competitive pay.
Yeah.
Uh,
What about creative freedom? Oh, creative freedom. That's I guess the ability to be creative when you're in AEW, you know, being part of a cool story and that kind of stuff. Do you think that they have the capability to experience that if they hopped over to AEW?
I think
I think.
Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay, I'll go.
you first.
All right. I think the problem with the whole thing with Tony Khan is he has this like acquirement syndrome thing where he scoops up a bunch of talent. They're kind of hyped for a bit, but then there's just they don't get much TV time, and then they just kind of like go away to like Ring of Honor or something. So I feel like a lot of those guys are just, you know, you don't get enough time on TV, I would say, with AEW. With newer talent, I would say.
David, you have thoughts?
I feel like AEW is good if you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who you are, and you can't sit there next to Tony or whoever else is an influencer back there and pitch your ideas with your chest straight, I don't think it works. But if you can go in there and be like, I'm John Moxley. I'm just gonna do some John Moxley shit.
Yeah.
Okay, like cool. But it's like if you turn to them and you're like, "Hey, I'm this, this, and that. What do I do?" I don't know. You
Yeah.
just told me who you are.
Well,
I think that's where the AEW fall off comes from.
mm-hmm.
Like for example, we'll use Miro. Like, Lord knows what the hell happened. But when Miro first came, he was a muscle bound dude that loves video games. Like, he changed the accolade to the game over. And like even before it was like when he first came, it was a thing to put him around arcade machines.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who the hell thought of that? Where did that come from? Where did it go? What is this compared to the? And then he came back as like the Redeemer, and that makes sense because now he's using the Redeemer even now.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just like that type of like it's almost like if you're a song and you skipped, like everyone's gonna notice the skip.
Like there's no acknowledgement that
Yeah,
this
it's
is
like and then it just tries to go back to normal. It's like, no, we heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And I guess in that same vein, do you feel like AEW should continue signing big names from WWE? or do you feel like they should focus more on homegrown or underutilized indie talent to keep the roster fresh? And I guess I'll ask you, Andres, and then I'll just go around the
Uh,
room.
I think they should keep it fresh and go for indie talent. I think they have a lot of really big hitters right now, and a good amount of them. Some of them came from WWE already.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think it'd be better to try to, because like to David's point earlier, how like the upper mid card to the top, like it's all pretty well orchestrated already throughout the show. Um, so they really should start building, I think, more from like the openers and the lower cards and stuff like that. I think they can find a bigger star and make something out of it
Mm-hmm.
from like a homegrown perspective. But to get someone else, like another big name from WWE that got released, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because like both rosters are still stacked, both in WWE and AEW. So it's
Right.
like it kind of feels a little scary to be like a upper mid card guy to be like, oh, I'm going to jump over there. Like, how's that honestly going to go? It obviously it's worked for a bunch of people, but it also has
Yeah.
not too. So it's
Yeah. I
interesting
mean,
time.
yeah. I mean, to your point, I feel like there's only enough oxygen in each main event, or even like upper mid card and lower card, where you have only so much TV time. And I would agree that WWE and AEW, they both have big rosters, and neither of them have, I feel like, a shortage of like top talent. Again, it's just a matter of like how are they being utilized. And again, like there are so many people on that roster who might not necessarily be currently utilized or just very little. Um, like Karrion Cross, I'm very interested to see, what they do with him as a character, because he's been mostly in backstage scenes, and then he finally gets a match, and that's great. But then he also loses in that match too, at Night of Champions. And I was hoping that I wasn't sure if I saw any kind of like crack in Sami Zayn as a character. So I wasn't sure if this is like, yeah, here you go, Karrion Cross, here's your match, and now we're not going to do anything with this story that's been kind of bubbling under. So yeah, just like wrestlers like that, I am worried about what they do, because Karrion Cross, like for example, and this will be the last thing before I move on to the main
Event.
conversation. Yeah, the main event, exactly. Is Yeah, I feel like Karrion Cross is like, for me personally, I think he's almost like a Jake the Snake Roberts, because his delivery and how he talks, it is very, and I feel like I might have talked about this before. I feel like he's very smooth at talking. It's very believable. Doesn't feel like he's reading off a script, like maybe kind of like a John Cena or somebody, where it's like over the top. He's just really good at talking. And I know we've talked crap about him before, and I think it's a meme at this point. People, people.
We're retconning all of it.
And yeah, I mean, like I've joked about it before, of course. And I mean, his entrance, and this is the other thing I kind of had maybe some hope for, because this new-ish entrance that they did. I mean, I think it's cool if they just keep going at it. I think it's an awesome type of entrance. So yeah. So I think AEW, I mean, as an alternative brand, I feel like they understand that they don't have to be competing with WWE to be successful. And I think they have found their market and their niche, and I think that they could be successful for as long as, Tony Khan's got money and people want to go see them. And I don't see them going away anytime soon in the way of like a WCW or, something like that. So with that, I mean, we talked about the size of the rosters and the fear of, having not enough oxygen in the main event scene because there's just so many top guys. This kind of goes into our main event story about wrestlers, age in pro wrestling. I think that's the crux of this conversation. And this has been around for the longest time. Guys who retire for the 20th time, they have their, like Ric Flair, I think, is the peak example of just loving it so much that they just can't let it go. And in WWE's current case, I mean, a majority of their main eventers are all in their 40s. And you know, folks will argue that maybe that's when you hit your peak. And you know, I feel like I mean, just think about like the list of people who are in the main event right now. You have Goldberg in a main event match. CM Punk, John Cena, they're both main eventing right now. I think they're in their late 40s now.
Yep.
I mean, just guys. Seth Rollins, I think he's pushing 40. Cody Rhodes I think he's about to be 40. If not, he just turned 40. Roman Reigns is another one. I think he's early 40s now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Randy Orton, thank you. There's another one, mid 40s. He's in his mid 40s right now. I mean, AJ Styles, please, thank you. There's another one, late 40s, I think. If we talk about AEW, I mean, Edge, Adam Copeland in his 50s. Sting, before he retired, was in his 50s, 60s, I think. Yeah. I mean, like these guys were like top talent, like people. And again, yeah, I guess that's the premise, and I'm gonna frame it a little more narrower. So we're gonna talk about like veterans and longevity. We're gonna do some longevity, and I want to do some comparisons between like young talent, the next generation, old school versus new school, and kind of like the business impact of you know, this conversation. So Chris, I guess for yourself, like, who are some wrestlers that you feel like, and we talked about some of them, who are still performing at a high level later in their careers, and what do you feel like makes them stand out? Like, why do they still intrigue people?
I mean, you mentioned John Cena and CM Punk. I would bring them up. I mean, it has everything to do with fan appeal, right? I mean, a lot of these guys kind of hang in there because of their appeal to fans and, you know, their popularity and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's the main thing is that they're just super popular, super over. They bring in money because it is a business at the end of the day. So, you know, whether it's a moral thing or not, you know, whether it's good to, you know, let the old dog do its thing, you know, they're still drawing money, drawing eyeballs. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. David, same question. Who do you feel like is still performing at a high level, and why do you think they stand out?
I'll give it to Jericho.
Mm-hmm. He's in his 50s, right?
For right now, yeah.
Yeah.
And even just like being the first AEW champ, I think like I think even when he's stale, he still knows like how to turn it for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, hi guys, and just like the silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with a lot of wit. Like, I think that's not something that you can necessarily do when you're young, is like how to turn it into what you need it to be. Or I feel like even the payout might take a little longer. Like, for example, like on the young side of being booed, it's like Dom. Like, we had it with, not we, but like overall, like universally hated for how long before it started turning for the better for him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when your season is Jericho or someone like that, like you can kind of turn it into your favor a little faster.
Yeah, I agree. And Jericho is very good at, like you said, kind of taking, like, I don't think he has go away heat. Maybe when he, like, right on that cusp, because I feel like he's disappeared for a little while now.
Yeah.
There was some sense of like go away heat, and people just didn't want him wrestling. They felt like he was sucking the energy out of you know, not matches, but like, you know, taking someone's spot. That's always the conversation when people are in that position who've been around for like 30 plus years, and he's got a main event title around his waist. That's always the conversation for anyone that age.
He's brought it
like
up
you
too.
said, I feel.
He's
Huh?
like the Jericho vortex, like kind of
Right.
sucking up talent.
Right. I mean, like that. But that's the thing. Like, he's aware of it, and they're all aware of it. But he actually like leans into it, and I think that's kind of I get a little bit of a kick out of that. Like Jericho and his TV time. He talked about that in his promos. Um,
Wait,
yeah. I mean, like that's a good one. And again, people do pay to see him. I feel like if he left AW and went to WWE, I think that the goodwill would return
oh yeah, he'd be
because
cool overnight.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
for sure.
like if he came to WWE, I think then it shifts again, and maybe again, maybe it's a short term like sugar rush where people are happy to see him, and then it kind of goes back into what people felt in AEW for Chris Jericho. But again, I do think that Jericho, I think he might do one last run or something in WWE. And it makes sense because that's kind of like where he became super popular. He was in WCW, of course, but like he didn't hit his popularity, I feel like, until he joined the WWF. But uh, Andres, same question. Who are some wrestlers that you feel like are performing at a high level in their later careers, and what makes them stand out to you?
I'll go with the one that I mentioned, Randy Orton. Uh, I mean, he's still like it's cool too, because like to the point like where David's saying like with Jericho, he's done so many cool like reinventing himself so many times, and he's
Hmm.
still such a good draw. But like Orton's kind of been consistent, I would say. He's had some like added names, but he's never really like changed like dramatically, and he's still a really good draw, and he's still
Yeah.
having great matches. And he's like not like in the main storyline, but he's around it.
Hmm.
He's a part of the main story. He's carrying the other wrestlers along with that. But like if he needs to be the main guy, he can do it too. So I feel like
Yeah.
he's still like S tier, good promos, S tier wrestling. He's entertaining. He had a great match with Joe Hendry. That was awesome. Like he's still a good character in general. And I mean, I don't know. I think for me, like he's someone who's been around but can still be that guy outside of the box, but also be the one in it too, being the main draw too.
I don't
Yeah. I
think
feel like, yeah, go for it.
I don't think Orton's aura is capable of having go away heat. Like in any position in his career, like he's either like good heel or some in betweener, kind of like anti-hero guy. Like wherever he wants to be, like I think he's generally pretty over with fans.
I think at the
Mhm.
very beginning when he had like the
Randy
the boy
TV.
next door haircut with like the when he had the shoulder sling and that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's go away heat, but I don't think people were buying what he was selling. So when he joined Evolution and basically from then on, I feel like there has been like people either love to hate him or love to cheer him, but it wasn't like a go away type of thing. I will say though, being in that watching in that era with like John Cena versus Randy Orton. I don't think I had an issue with Randy Orton, but it's because they just kept revisiting that same feud for so many times. And now, like now that there was such a long gap between John Cena and Randy Orton feuding together because they had the match, I think, at Backlash. Like that was cool to see because there was such a long gap in between. Um, but yeah, like Randy Orton right now, I mean, like the guy looks like a freaking monster. Like he's in his, what is he, like 45, 46, something like that. I think this is the most jacked he's ever looked. Ever. Like, and I think that's the other thing that that is apparent for that generation of wrestlers like John Cena, Randy Orton. I mean, I'll give it to CM Punk and all those guys too. I mean, I think their lifestyle, I mean, the travel has changed dramatically. They're not wrestling 360 days a year. They're not waking up and opening a bottle of Jack Daniels to start the day.
Why not?
Lifestyle. Well, then you'll end up like I don't know, Greg the Hammer Valentine or somebody like that who looks like your gym teacher. But like I feel like, yeah, like the lifestyle has shifted, and I feel like to that initial question, why are they still performing at a high level? I just feel like that lifestyle changed, and it gives them the ability to do that. Shawn
Oh, yeah.
Michaels, I mean, he did the same
The
thing
last
too.
3 years, probably his
He
best 3 years.
HBK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he did it until like 45 or something like that, 43, 44, something like that. I mean, yeah, honestly, like when I started watching and rewatching in '06, when like his return to WWE and then all those matches, subsequent matches after his back injury, I mean, like he was like there was no comparison, like in the ring, how he sold things, his promos. I mean, like match of the year, like 3 or 4 years in a
Every year,
row. Jericho feud, the Undertaker feud. I mean,
Cena,
yeah, Cena at WrestleMania 23. I said
Angle.
it's one of my favorite. Yeah, I mean it's crazy, and he was in his like late 30s, early 40s, basically, and then retired on a high note. And no one wants to bring up the Brothers of Destruction match at Crown Jewel, but you know.
Get that
Hey,
bag.
bags, get that bag.
Yeah,
But
dude.
Cash, no
besides that,
tax.
yeah. So I guess let's use that as an example. So let's use Brothers of Destruction DX tag team match as an example for this next question. So do you feel like age is just a number in wrestling, or do you think there's a realistic shelf life for most wrestlers? And I guess whoever feels like you want to jump on that, go ahead.
Depends on your body, man.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's
That's
just.
what makes you old.
I mean, there's a
Yeah.
certain entertainment factor to see the old guy try to come back like that. There's a drama to it. I think there's a place for that kind of an archetype of just having the older wrestler kind of hang in there, having like some kind of a redemption or something like that. But it needs to
Mhm.
be tasteful in some sense, like a Ric Flair, like for instance, he's had many moments where that worked. Like for instance, the Shawn Michaels retirement match, like that should have technically been it. But then he kept coming back, and it just kind of distorted his overall his legacy, I would say, because then he just kept just doing this thing. But then on the other end, I guess you got to kind of respect it, and it's fun watching a train wreck, I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess that's my question. Like, for I feel like there's a shelf life there, and then at a certain point, you're just watching it for the shock factor, I
Adam
guess.
Copeland jumping off a cage on landing on his feet.
Yeah, on his heel or whatever, and I'm
Straight
surprised.
down.
He's
His,
like, "Oh, I'm not a cat."
yeah, I get like I'm surprised his like kneecap didn't like shoot out of his leg.
I thought it was gonna look like a cartoon.
Yeah. Or like the Mortal Kombat like creative fatality where it's just like the same 5 body
Yeah.
parts popping up. Yeah.
Right.
Like that's what I was expecting. But yeah.
I think it's with Ric Flair too. Is he's always been old since I've been watching wrestling. To be honest, like
Right.
That's true. Yeah, I mean like I remember like watching the WrestleMania 22 promo when I was like getting back into him, like he's in a Money in the Bank ladder match? What the hell?
Is this smart?
Yeah.
Now we watch
So-
every Ric Flair match and go, "Is this smart?"
Like here's an example like Hulk Hogan, for example.
Rick.
He's another good example. When do you feel like it became
TNA,
unwatchable? Yeah, unwatchable. TNA.
TNA.
Yeah, that's
for
what I was
sure.
thinking.
Mr. America.
He was
Why do
still
you feel
putting
it-
on good matches that last run of WWE.
What makes you feel like it was unwatchable in TNA? Do you feel like it was do you think it was the match quality? Do you feel like
1/3
it was
speed.
I mean, it's 1/3 speed, and I think I'll argue also like probably like storyline because it did kind of feel like whatever people thought about they were doing in WCW, it felt like they were doing in TNA
That
on
and
TV.
I feel like TNA in that time just had way too many leaks.
Mhm.
Like I don't know who talks to who and all that, but like I felt like being a kid going on no DQ that like TNA I could read and just be like, oh yeah, that's going on. Where it's like, you know, WWE, take it with a grain of salt. It's like, yeah, Meltzer, you made 18 stories. One's got to be right. Broken clock. Kind of
Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
And
So I get what do you guys think in terms of like age? Because I say older wrestlers, but I feel like everyone has a different threshold for what is old. You know what I mean? Like if someone's in their 40s, do you feel like they are old wrestlers? Like would you put them in the same camp as a Ric Flair or Sting? Or
Sting and Ric
is it
Flair
case
aren't
by
even in
case?
the same camp. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Because Sting didn't look out of place in AEW.
Yeah.
I think
And he didn't look out of place against Rollins either.
I mean, to Sting's credit, I think it helps that he wears makeup and he has like a full suit versus like Ric Flair is in his underwear. And visually, it's just
But I mean, also,
different.
like, I feel like we never seen Sting like hobble around. Like he wasn't hobbling through any of his matches.
Yeah, he never looked old.
shit, he jumped off a freaking barricade or some shit,
Right.
being
And
65 years
yeah.
old.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
man.
that's to the credit also I think of the producers and people who were putting together the matches, like for Sting, for example. I mean, it's not like he was like always moving the whole time. I think they also made him look really good too. I feel like
Right.
that there's also some factor into that. Like, are you making him look good? You know, like maybe like you're watching the whole match, you don't even realize that maybe he was only in there for like 30 seconds or a minute, because of the way the match was built. You know what I mean?
Sting, Sting versus
yeah.
I don't think
Rollins was good until the buckle bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Until I thought he basically retired him permanently after that happened.
times have
Yeah.
really changed though with wrestling. I mean, like, because wrestlers don't stay full time forever anymore. And oh, hi Mina.
I think
Sorry.
they go part time
Okay.
earlier.
Say hi, Mom.
Kitty.
Sorry.
Because look at Taker.
Yeah, look at Taker. I mean, people still wrestle and they. Hi, Mama. Sorry. How are you?
Okay.
Times have changed and stuff, and wrestlers' careers kind of get a little bit more extended because they go part time for a while. And I mean, Diamond Dallas Page, when he came into WCW, he was in his 40s, I believe, when he actually like decided to become a wrestler. I think he was like 42,
That's true.
right? Or at least like
And
39 or something.
I mean, in that era too, like we talked about this off camera, but also like Hulk Hogan, he had like another renaissance in his I think he was early 40s, early.
Yeah, he
like,
just looked 50.
yeah, he looked 50,
always looked
but
50.
yeah. Yes, the dark leather. But yeah, early 40s. I mean, he had another renaissance with NWO. I think he was in his early 40s. If not, like maybe like very like 39, 40, 41. In NWO. I mean, and that was also like its own phenomenon. Like all the pop culture crossovers with like the Bulls, the Jay Leno stuff and all that kind of stuff. Anything. That was an era, and like people paid to see him, you know. And I guess my next question is in the current era with AEW, with WWE. I guess Chris, to you, do you feel like promotions are too reliant on older stars to pop ratings and ticket sales now? If you took a step back and looked at the current product for like AEW, WWE, do you feel like they're too reliant on it? Do you think it's the right mix?
I think it's a good mix. Because when you look at like main event stuff for at least like AEW, you're not seeing a lot of just like here's all a bunch of old guys, main eventing. You know what I mean? They're still.
I mean, some would argue like the Hurt Syndicate are like older guys.
They're I guess
Shelton Benjamin.
Here's my thing to that, because like let's say they're 40, whatever, it's presentation and it's their athleticism and it's how they kind of take care of themselves, because like if they can hang in the ring, like I mean, and you're putting on good matches and you're doing your character service and all this kind of stuff, like who am I to tell that person? But it's more of like if the audience can tell that your time should be generally up, like a Ric Flair or somebody like that, then it's probably time to wrap it up. So it's more of like an optics and how you're being perceived as a wrestler versus like, you know, whether you're 42 or 60 or whatever.
69.
Nice.
David, what do you think? Do you feel like they're too reliant on older stars, pop ratings?
I don't think so. But deep down, I know it's what sells the ticket.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Cena's last tour.
Yeah, I mean, like
Or,
if they announced like John Cena, who is basically this past year or past generation's Hulk Hogan, writing on the wall, "This is my last." Like, I think that's new, where someone announces that they're retiring, and I only have so many dates. I feel like that's new.
yeah, that's some like Elton John,
Yeah, like here's my last tour.
Rolling
You see
Stone.
me before
Shit, you're
I
still
retire. I don't think Elton John's touring. He's still making music.
No, he went on a retirement tour.
Yeah, he went on a retirement tour. He does like the occasional cameo, but it's not like a full like world tour. I'm traveling, 60, 80 dates or whatever
So
it
did
is.
Kiss,
So
though.
huh? Oh, and again, like Kiss, Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Black Sabbath. you know. So I guess here's my other question in terms of the difference between WWE and AEW using their older talent. Do you feel like there is a difference between how they use their older talent, and if there is, what is it?
No different.
It's the same
It's the
tool.
same?
It's like we have the name recognition here. We're gonna put you in a spot where we can make some money.
Give the young boy a rub. Pause.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Exactly.
Because I feel like even if when people were saying like Jericho,
Copeland.
and this is yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been going back and forth on this because I feel like I've critiqued it in the past, and I'm kind of assessing like even when Jericho was the main event person, and I'm thinking of like the learning tree. Like I guess in theory there is like a faction that he's trying to give the rub to people who are in that faction, right? Um, I guess it's a matter of, is it effective? Is the faction effective? Are the talent, do they have it in them to be effective? Because like, for example, Legacy with like Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase. Cody Rhodes ended up, making something of himself, and Ted DiBiase's in jail for, money fraud and stuff. So,
For real, I didn't know that.
Everybody's got a price.
yeah, everybody's
Is she
got
in
a
jail?
price.
I know she was in
I
jail.
don't know. I don't know if he's still in jail, but he went to jail. Well, the bottom line is like his trajectory, like his career went one way, and then Cody Rhodes went the other way. So
Cody's the champ. Ted's a felon.
Yeah, exactly. Put that on a T-shirt. Pro wrestling tees.
No, I think both companies kind of do it pretty well when they bring back old talent. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really recall too many like big names coming back and they're just like a huge flop. Like unless the crowd just didn't know who they were, or just been so long that like nobody knows who this wrestler is. But I mean, both companies, I think both do. Goldberg, yeah. Actually, no, that is one good one because I'm not looking forward to that at all. It's for the title too, right?
The Goldberg one, yeah. I hope he wins the title.
Goldberg.
I just want chaos. I want him to win it, and then maybe he could do what Bret Hart said he was gonna do. He was gonna retire it on Monday Night Raw or whatever. Or have Seth Rollins cash in. That would actually be kind of funny if Seth Rollins just like Goldberg won and then Seth cashed in on his belt. But we'll see, because apparently Seth Rollins is going after John Cena's belt, so we'll see where that goes. But side tangent. So I think I agree, because I feel like WWE, they've had like these peaks and valleys of like how often they use their older stars. like the 2002, 2003 era where they had that influx of like WCW talent. And I mean, most of them I feel like were in their 30s and stuff. So it's not like it was just an influx of old talent, with the exception of, I guess, Hulk Hogan,
At,
Flair.
at least we don't do old school Raws to start the year every year anymore.
Yeah. Like it used to be like a gimmick too.
Raw goes old school.
Oh, yeah.
To pop a rating for sure.
Right.
And now it's like, it's because Raw goes old school is like, oh, here's a bunch of cameos of like, here's the fucking
Coco Beware.
Coco Beware, what's
Love that guy.
the IRS guy, just cameos from it, Mae Young or whatever. I mean, it was fun because like I didn't get to see a lot of those people when they were active, and it for sure was to pop a rating. And now WWE has, before they had the issue where they didn't have enough young talent, and now I think they have so much talent they don't know what to do with them. And NXT is kind of being used as like the third brand, kind of developmental, kind of.
The Garza's got the AAA titles.
Yeah, now you got AAA. Now they're bleeding people, and they're like, "Well, we don't really want you on SmackDown, but you are our guys, so we want you to hold their titles," kind of deal. So there's a lot of spots where you could make a name for yourself. It's almost borderline overwhelming, if I'm being honest with you, with the amount of wrestling and content. But
Right.
I think WWE.
NXT.
Yeah, I mean WWE's in a good position. And again, from a business perspective, who are your top T-shirt sales and merch people? You have John Cena for sure. CM Punk is a top seller. Cody Rhodes. Karrion Kross apparently had a shirt. I don't know if his shirt is still selling that high.
Ron Killings.
Ron Killings, yeah. Oh, there's another one. Like a guy in his 50s. I think he's about to have like another like renaissance in his career. Like, and he's 52, 53 or whatever, and he still moves like he's in his 30s.
Or
He still moves like singles wrestler in TNA, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. And it kind of goes back to like lifestyle, and just so much has changed from like how wrestlers used to live and probably sleep like 4 hours a day, and then, like I said, wake up with Jack Daniels or some brandy and get the coffee in,
pop some pills
and pop some, yeah, exactly, pill popping, and then get to work. I mean, it was brutal, and it's not like that anymore.
Truth open.
There's more rules though.
Like, that's crazy to say out loud.
Truth open for what?
Tupac.
Oh, that is crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's just, how old is Truth? He opened for Tupac.
Yeah, that's how old he is. So let me ask you, and I guess this is kind of, we've talked about this a little bit, and we just talked about R-Truth, and I guess we can kind of expand on that before we wrap up this episode. But do you feel like a 20-year veteran can still reinvent themselves to keep up with today's wrestling landscape?
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Jericho. We talked about, R-Truth, who I think had one of the best promos of the year. Like, it was like part emotional. I was also like, oh man, he's about to be like mad. Like, I wasn't sure what was happening. But I mean, that promo was so good, and then he cut his hair on live TV.
We mentioned before, but The Rock's also kind of done with the big boss or the final boss.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the final boss. I mean, like, he reinvented himself. And he didn't need to either. Like, he could have rode off in the sunset with his Rudy Poo and if you smell catchphrases. But
Yep.
he became I think a much more interesting character, and probably the most interesting he's ever been from the past 3 years that he had to run. Rey Mysterio, there's another
Just
one.
gets to be like, I'm Rey Mysterio, but his body still moves, so it's just like,
Yeah, like like his is a little slower, but like even like his slow is like a lot of guys in their 20s or 30s like normal,
yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing. Good genetics, I'm sure that helps. So I guess okay, one last one before we wrap up. So if you look, oh, these are two good questions.
All right, last two.
All right, last two. Okay, let's do this one. If you had to build a roster of 5 wrestlers who are all over 40 years old, who would you be? Who would be the 5 people on your roster who are over 40?
Over 40.
And I guess I could start. For sure, I'll say CM Punk. I'll say John Cena.
Boo, boo.
I'll say Randy Orton. Like guys over 40. I'm trying to think.
Is Kenny
And
over
again,
40
like,
yet?
Yep, he's
yeah,
41.
yeah. Then I'll say Kenny Omega.
Ah.
I mean, you can include a Kenny Omega. Like, it's not like you have to come up with 5 unique people.
Yeah.
And again, like over 40 could also be someone in their 60s. And I'm like thinking, I think I might put in Sting as maybe not necessarily as like an in-ring talent, but maybe like a manager or somebody like that. So I'll say those guys, those 5. Chris, did you have names? You think you got 5 on you?
I got bars. Let's see. Kenny, AJ Styles, Orton. I'll throw Punk in there. Ooh. Fuck it, I'll put Truth in there too.
There you go. Also, apologies. It sounds like a rack outside. People just shooting fireworks.
Yeah, leaking in.
Yeah. Andre, so what about you? You got 5 wrestlers over 40. Who would be on your roster?
Yeah, I'll put Orton, AJ, Kenny Omega. I'll throw Jericho in there too, just to have a little bit older. And I guess my
For
last one would
controversy?
be yeah.
Hogan?
And I guess I'll throw Lesnar.
Flair.
Yeah, you said Lesnar?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. David, who would you put in your roster of over 40s?
LA Knight.
Oh, that's true. I guess he's over 40.
Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny. Christian Cage.
Oh, yeah. Didn't think about him.
And the last pick. Oh, no.
Cope.
Gotta
Yeah.
have the tag team, bro.
I'm at Cope. You're out.
Honestly, I was also thinking of like
probably
Jeff
Orton.
Hardy or Matt Hardy. I think I would
Yeah,
put
Hardys
the
are
Hardys
good.
in there.
Probably Ray. Like that 5th spot is gonna have to be Money in the Bank type match for the 5th spot.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Ray. Gotta sell some ticks,
Yeah.
right? Huh? You gotta sell some ticks.
Exactly.
Bret
Sell some
Hart.
merchandise. Get those masks. Okay, here's the last question, and I think this is more interesting because this will require us to look at the younger wrestlers right now and think in the future. So, who do you feel like is a younger wrestler right now that you think has the potential to still be relevant in 20 years?
Mm.
So I think it's
Braun
kind
Breaker.
of hard. Braun Breaker? Huh? Yeah, I could see
Devon
that.
Evans.
Devon Evans?
Javon Evans, he's in
Oh,
NXT.
Siobhan. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'm
Dominic,
trying to think of someone who's like really young. Dominic Mysterio, yeah.
he's only 20 years from now he'd be pushing 50.
What is he right now? Like 23, 4?
28, 29.
Dang. Yeah, I mean he's still young. But he definitely like he's like Rhea Ripley, I think, is another one. I think she's in her 20s still, no? I don't
Yeah.
think she's in her 30s yet. It's crazy. For sure. Like, I mean, we didn't even talk about like the women over 40. Oh, I should have fucking put like Trish Stratus and Lita on there, but
Mm-hmm. Sexism.
that's fine. Sexism, yeah. Yeah, we were just thinking.
We start making our top 5. You start thinking like 12-year-olds again.
Yes, exactly. I mean, like young wrestlers right now for sure. Like you said, Rhea Ripley. I mean, Dominic Mysterio.
Roxanne.
Roxanne Perez. I think she has the potential. I think we'll see. Because there's some people where I was like, oh, maybe like Dakota Kai, but then they let her go.
MJF's not old. He'll be like a prime old man by then.
That's true, and I think he's got the longevity for sure. He's got that like generational talent, so for sure him. Andres, who did you say? You said Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Chris, who did you say?
I was still debating. I was thinking Osprey, but I was like, his body will probably be broken by then.
He'll be like AJ Styles by then.
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Well, it's like even look at 30-year-old AJ Styles, then watch an Osprey match now. You're just like, oh, okay.
Similar.
Yeah.
Is
Remember,
that your answer,
Osprey is a
Chris?
TNA kid.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm thinking, like trying to think like really young right now. Like that would be really it, because everybody else is like generally, mid-30s or something like that.
Yeah.
Jacob, who's 31.
Yeah, I mean Jacob Fatu, I think that's another one. He also has that aura, and I'm really curious to see where they go with like this new bloodline, because they just added like 2 more people in one night, on top of like Tonga Loa returning and all that kind of stuff. So
Who else?
I don't know what else.
Oh well, Hikuleo and JC Mateo.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff Cobb Mateo.
Or I said, Tonga Loa returned, and then I think they what do they call? They're calling them Tonga.
Tonga.
Yeah, they were calling it something.
The tallest Tonga.
The tallest Tonga.
I'm gonna be confused with all these damn names that are sounding similar as fuck.
Taller Tonga.
Yeah. Taller Tonga, Tama Tonga, Short King Tonga.
Tamagotchi.
But yeah. I don't think they will all be breakout stars. I mean, just surely. I mean, I guess they could be, but I don't think they are all going to do it. I think Jacob Fatu for sure. Solo Sikoa. I mean, how old is Solo Sikoa? He's got to also be in only his
like 30s.
Is he 20s?
He's early 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got longevity. I want them to have him lean into the comedy, because I do think like there are some streaks of it where he's funny, goofy as shit. Yeah. I think if he leans more into that, like that, I think that would be good, because that kind of separates him from all the tough Samoans and Tongans that they have. He's 32.
I always think about when he had tickets to watch Jey Uso, and he's like, I got tickets. Look, it's all right. I got tickets. Yeet.
Yeah.
I got tickets. One for me, one for him. I got Yeet.
Just sitting. Is that the one where he's sitting in the crowd eating like popcorn and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good.
Or even like how during his post scrum for winning the title, he was like, I got 4 letters for you. Stop.
Yeah, it's just that funny, dumb as shit stuff that I think he should do more of.
How old is Kofi? Is he in over 40?
He's in his 40s. Yeah, he's in his 40s.
What about,
he's like CM Punk's age. Xavier Woods is younger. Woods is 38. And I don't. Has he held the title? I mean, I guess he's held the tag title, but I don't think he's held a singles title.
Nope, just King of the Ring.
That's crazy. He's also like a talent that I think is good, but like for whatever reason, they didn't give him a singles run. I feel like he should.
Because he left his hard drive open that one time.
Yeah, but then Paige still got. There was Kofi Mania, or I guess Kofi wasn't in that video. Paige still got.
Tag me in, brother.
Yeah.
Brad Maddox.
That was Brad Maddox. Yeah, I don't think his career went anywhere, but yeah, Paige still had titles even after that, so didn't stop her.
True.
Well, let's end on that. That's a wrap for
Sorry.
this episode of Chi-Town Shoot Podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us, and leave your feedback. Tune in next time for more wrestling madness. Until then, keep marking out.